Hello, everyone. Zach Zaspie here, and I'm going to talk about a subject that's very dark and may actually hit home for all of you. It's about my second suicide attempt and the thoughts and shit that were going through my head during the fact. So let's get started, shall we? Each of my two attempts this year, I did it with no one in mind as to whom it would impact. I thought everyone would get over it. Many of my friends have made me realize different, though. I am worth something. I just don't know what yet, to be frankly honest. I did each attempt thinking it would be overlooked, that people either wouldn't notice or would be mildly affected or not at all affected. I was only thinking of myself. I wanted the pain to end, to just go away. And I thought taking my life was the only way. Period. I don't know why I thought that, and I still think that at different points throughout the days I'm here. Uh, Let me tell you what my mom told me the day after my second suicide attempt. My mom came to check up on me in the morning on Friday to find me on the floor, face up and barely conscious. I would try to get up and stand, and I'd fall back onto the bed for either support or because of what I had just taken. According to my mom, during the horror ordeal, when I learned the cops and ambulance had arrived, I said, "God damn it," because that was the last thing I wanted. That's all I said. Then I spent most of the time unconscious, responding only to pain, which was a bunch of needles, of course. Uh, Upon fully waking, I'd have trouble talking with slurred speech the whole time. That would last 2 to 3 days. I woke up in the hospital bed with a tube down my nose, another catheter, two IVs, and I was where I wanted to be the least, the hospital. The night before, me and my mom were talking, and she knew I was feeling suicidal. I told her, and she took my shoulders and tried to reassure me that I was saved, that I was a strong man, and that I would live. I had tears in my eyes and tried to respond, reassuring her I was safe and that I wasn't going to kill myself. But before all this, I took my mood stabilizer slash sleep helper pills, the bottle of the pills, which still had about two-thirds of its pills left in it, and I took two water bottles and stashed them in my room behind her back. I was talking to friends as well, and I made a couple aware of this, and they told me not to do it, and I simply stopped responding, which scared the hell out of at least one of my friends. I would later learn after I got out. I took these pills as I learned that they could potentially ruin my kidneys or liver and thus kill me in turn, and that's what I hoped that they would do. But before and during all of this, I would write a suicide note to my mom that I will share with you momentarily, but first, I'll say a few things so the note makes sense. On a Thursday before the second half of October, I had just gotten a tattoo of a Pokeball from Pokemon on my back and gotten into a car crash about an hour later, but I was not harmed, nor was the other driver. I was listed at fault as I technically hit him, and I felt very guilty about it. I still do to this day. I would later get into a fight with a family member that I've always been tense with, and I said to both my dad and that family member that I should have gone to live with mom after the first suicide attempt after all, and that I was done. I was not expecting that the next day my dad would tell me I was moving out that day. I personally felt that this was a betrayal, that he was choosing that family member over me, although he would later explain that this was not the case. This would be sorted out later on for sure. I moved in with mom after work that day, that night, for instance. Over the next few weeks, I would become more stressed as I attempted to settle in with my mom and her fiance, as well as work at my new location. Luckily, I was able to transfer from my AMC down to the AMC, which was literally a walk away. Uh, Despite my mom's efforts, ties with the family I left behind would only worsen as me and my father fought over text often. And he once said something that drove me to a breaking point. I'm not going to say it here, but I can tell you it really stung. Now I'll recite the suicide note. Mom, I'm sorry. I'm not strong. and this was too much for me to handle. I have to go. I feel it's what's best for me and everyone else. I don't have enough reasons to live. I have to go. Keep going without me. I know you can. Your firstborn, Zachary Vasile King. I would also leave a note to leave that little bracelet of mine for my brothers. I had no one in mind but myself when it came to that note. I was in tears, and after I had stopped talking to people, I'd slowly take all the pills, hoping to fall asleep and never wake up again. And that takes us to the events I spoke about earlier on. I was transferred to another psych hospital on Monday and got more help, and I'll be taking outpatient therapy for 4 weeks. I hope to complete those before the end of the year. I'm still shaking about the whole ordeal, but what's most important is that I'm alive and still kicking. During my inpatient therapy, me, mom, and dad talked about and sorted out things as to where I was going to go, as to what was going to happen upon discharge, and I swore to my brothers, well, more to my dad to pass on to my brothers who weren't present, that I wouldn't kill myself or try to kill myself again. I've never had a friend kill themselves, but I didn't consider that I could become that friend to others. And to those friends, I am so sorry. I really am. I am here now, and I am here to stay. This goes for all of you who support me as well. You all mean the world to me, and I'll fight for you as long as I live. Thanks for watching. Keep on living. Stay strong. You're all stars. Have a good day, everyone.